So wait, I have literally 1,000 questions, and I think we have very limited time.
I think we have just under 30 minutes.
Just under 30 minutes? Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Joe Shelly.
Joe Shelly?
Lead game designer.
Lead game designer.
On Diablo 4.
Oh my god. Okay, let's just So, the question is, Paragon levels. Are there going to be Paragon levels?
We're looking at the same kind of philosophy that applied to Diablo 3 in terms of when you log in, maybe you play for 30 minutes, maybe you play for an hour, maybe you play 15 minutes, and having that mean something, like when you log out, making some kind of progress. That philosophy that underpins Paragon levels in Diablo 3 continues to be important to us, but in terms of the exact method by which that statement will be true, we still have work to do. We're not going to do exactly the same thing we did in Diablo 3, but we're going to do something that fulfills that same goal.
So wait, you're the lead game designer on D4?
There are 2 lead game designers.
There's 2? Oh, okay. So you have like a lot of control over what happens?
My responsibility is to handle combat, systems, encounters, dungeons.
And you said you like the way that Paragon levels worked in Diablo 3 in terms of like keeping people playing, but you don't think it's not going to be exactly the same or anything.
Right.
So on that question, in game, like what is it and why would you keep playing it? Like in terms of what like you just like obviously in D3 it's just grinding.
Yeah.
Just creators forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, we have a lot of endgame to build. We want when you reach endgame for you to participate in a variety of different activities. So the World Boss of Shava is one activity that you might
I haven't done it yet, but
yeah, it's available in the demo. It's the first time you've been able to play, bring many people together to take down a single monster, a single boss, and it's so big that we have to pull the camera out a little bit to do it.
On the world, oh my god. Okay, so world bosses.
Well, let me say that. So we want to have a variety of activities. The world boss is one activity. Key dungeons are going to be an activity. Key dungeons are inspired by greater rifts.
So you're saying like key dungeons is like so you're saying GRs when you say key dungeon?
They're inspired by greater rifts, but it's a different system. And there'll be additional activities beyond that we haven't announced.
These key dungeons.
Yes.
Are they going to be infinitely scaling?
They will scale. I don't know if they'll infinitely scale, but they'll scale to an extent that there's no concern about reaching the maximum. Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay.
So the way that this works is we have, in the world, there are hundreds of dungeons, and you can experience them at different levels, leveling up and so forth. At max level, you can get a key, and that key will be for a specific dungeon. So let's say Garenhold from the demo.
Okay.
The key, when used, transforms Garenhold for you and your party, if you choose to go in with a party, into a max level dungeon. And it has a rank on it, somewhat similar to Greater Rifts, and that rank can increase and increases the difficulty of the dungeon.
Okay, so what max level? What's the max level?
The max level, we don't know for sure yet.
Question mark.
It's 40 right now.
40 right now?
It could change. We have a long way to go.
Okay.
On top of that, the key has affixes on it.
Oh, so it's Mythic Plus. It's really similar to Mythic Plus in a lot of ways.
Affixes add mechanics to the dungeon, can add mechanics to the boss fights, so it really changes how the dungeon plays.
Oh, wow. And in terms of mechanics, is it going to be like something that will really change it, or is it going to be like increase life by like 10%?
No,
or
it's
like,
significant. If you
like game
check out
mechanics.
the systems and features panel tomorrow, the lead dungeon designer, Zavin, is going to talk a little bit more about that. One of the affixes, to give you an example, is this lightning pulse. It's like a obelisk of rock and lightning magic, and it follows you through the dungeon. You can't kill it, you can't stop it, and it releases periodic lightning pulses.
God, no.
Keep moving. You have to play.
Will it kill you? Is it like is it like a time? Is it like some sort of?
It's not a wall of death. It's an object that chases you through the dungeon.
Okay.
And it releases pulses that do a wide area of damage.
So in terms of affixes, is there going to be positive affixes?
There may be, yeah. We're really trying to experiment with all kinds of different ways to change the way that the dungeon plays and make it replayable in really different ways. So there may be.
Speaking of positive and negative affixes, when it comes to itemization, Is it going to be like kiss with curse items in terms of like, are you going to have like a legendary which has some bad thing attached to it, but then it gives you some really good thing?
I don't know.
So I really like those items personally.
Kiss curse items are really hard to design successfully. There tends to be a right answer, or there tends to be a case where you can get really badly screwed over by them. But maybe right now, the legendaries that we're ready to talk about are things that modify existing skills. So, for example, your sorceress has a teleport.
Yeah.
And then you can get a legendary that, say, removes the cooldown on teleport. You get another legendary that, say, allows it to do a Nova area when you teleport. So you can combine those to change the way teleport works.
I see.
But there are also legendaries that are equipable by a variety of classes and do other things like summon Hydras.
So far, I haven't seen anything like this, but I'm kind of worried. In Diablo 3, there's a lot of items, for example, that have multipliers on them, which, like, if you're going to use one skill, then you're forced into basically using, like, every single multiplier item for that said skill. Is it going to be multipliers on items?
Certainly, legendary items make the item more powerful, but what you're probably asking about is in D3, you'd see an item that would say, 3,000% damage to something.
Or 10,000.
Yeah, so we're not going in that direction.
Yeah.
The legendary items, the idea of the legendary items is that you can further modify your skills beyond that which is allowed through the skill system, through the talent system, to really customize your playstyle.
Okay.
And we're building hundreds of legendaries.
Hundreds?
So
there's lots of legendaries in Diablo 3, but you basically, you just equip a 6 set, and then you have like 2 or 3 slots to use. It's like, okay, which rank do I want to use? Or like, I have to use this helmet because that's a multiplier on it. And there's very limited choice. Are you doing that same thing where it's like, D3, it's like the illusion of choice? What's the point? Just go with sets all the way? Like, because I heard there are sets, which kind of scares me because I hate sets.
Yeah, we're not doing that. So one of the things so there are a couple of places where sets are really cool. One is the set look gives the ability to really live out some kind of fantasy, and there's some really, really cool set looks, right? The other thing is that when you initially reach max level and you want to sort of get into something and like get a sense of like, all right, what do I want to do? Let me get some build together that can be effective.
So for new players.
Yeah, and so in Diablo 4, legendaries are as or more powerful than set items.
So would you say
you will graduate out of it?
Will there ever be a point where a set would be the most meta thing, where like you would have like sets like? So you're saying that you'd start off with it and then you'd switch them out with legendaries. Yeah. So you basically sets are just a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And then they'll be phased out. Well, not phased out, but like almost phased out.
There might be some situations where you're using a set for something, but no, the idea is not to have the meta be.
So you were saying they look aesthetically really cool. Can you, if you really like the set, can you transmog that set like on top of your own items? Is it going to be like transmog or anything like that?
We are looking at bringing transmog to Diablo.
So you're considering it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we have a million questions. SSF. This is a really fun. You could just say no.
Okay.
If it's like this, like not happening, or maybe, or like just SSF. Solo self-found.
So
yes. Like part of Excel, I mean, people like Leviathan and a bunch of other people do it in Diablo 3 where you just don't play with anyone else.
You can choose to play that way if you want. We're not going to officially support it in like a game mode or something.
Like no sort of game mode where you can select that. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. That's pretty big. So, ladders and things in competitive systems, is there going to be any sort of, like, you said with keystones, like, for example, is there going to be like a leaderboard in game that we can access to see who has the highest, keystone clear or...
Yeah, we like leaderboards when they're meaningful to... And the case where they tend to be most meaningful is when there's a fairly small group of people who are competing for that thing.
Yeah.
We find if you look at Diablo 3 leaderboards, there are 100 or maybe 500 people who care about that.
Yeah, that's me.
And
like 10 at the top end, bro. Like,
sure, and there are people who are 40,000.
Yeah.
And the leaderboard isn't super useful to them.
Yeah.
So the way that we to the extent we're still figuring it out, but the way that we want to approach leaderboards is to focus on specific aspects where they can be really meaningful, and less on like who's the
PvP?
top ever person out of people.
So you're saying most meaningful? Does that mean what does that mean? So
it means that there'll be for sort of specific activities or challenges.
Okay.
So, it won't be like I said, we have a long way to go.
Okay.
But if you look at some of the leaderboards in Diablo 3, we had the seasonal conquests where you were doing something more specific. So more in that direction, but it's pretty early to say, really.
Okay. Trading. So you said there was going to be trading in the announcement and everything.
Yes.
So is it like, do you have soulbound? Is it just people who are in your group when an item drops? Like, can you just trade things? Can I equip an item and then trade it to some other guy after I've finished using it? Is there going to be an auction house?
There will not be an auction house.
Oh.
The way that we haven't settled on a specific trading system yet.
Okay.
We have a philosophy for how trading will work, and the idea is that when you get the predominant source of getting items in Diablo 4 should be from killing monsters.
That's true.
It's the same philosophy that was the reasoning that we removed the auction house in Diablo 3. However, we want to integrate trading more closely into Diablo 4. So we're exploring several different possible systems to do that. And the one that we are currently leaning toward, and we would like your feedback on how you guys feel about trading, is one where there would be three types of items.
Okay.
A type of items that are tradable all the time.
Okay.
With no restrictions.
So what kind of example items would that be?
Consumables, crafting mats,
Same.
certain items, a certain armor, perhaps. There'd also be items that can be traded once and then become bound.
Oh, that's spicy.
And then some set of items that can never be traded. They're bound when you.
So like some sort of legendary thing, or
possibly
like ultimate.
Likely the most powerful items, but would be bound on pickup. But the line of where that is. In terms of just having those three categories, we have a lot of flexibility in terms of like, well, how many items does that mean that are bind on pickup, right? Like, is it 2 items? Is it 100, 500 items? Like, where is that line? So we have a lot of balancing within that system, but that may not be the system we go with.
That's really interesting, to be honest with you. That's okay. I'm not going to waste time. We've got very limited time. Crafting. So I play a lot of Path of Exile, and they have they have like 5 different end games for crafting, and you got like all these different things you can do. Diablo 3, for example, is just like you need X and then you craft Y, and it's an item that's just kind of like a beginner item, and it's not got any depth to it. Are you looking into doing any sort of crafting end game, like meta crafting, anything like crazy?
Yeah, so we're definitely going to bring crafting forward into Diablo 4 and expand on it. There will be opportunities to create items through crafting. A lot of the end game is going to be about item modification.
Oh.
And the crafting will also incorporate the world. So a big part of having a huge, seamless, connected world is going out and getting things, whether that's slaying monsters or finding something rare in some corner of the world.
Okay. So does that mean there won't be some sort of system where you can so you're saying you can modify items and you can go out and collect things to craft a certain item, but will there be like any sort of, thing where you can just sit there in town crafting for like 5 hours, like some random item using like materials, for example?
If you collected a lot of materials, you could craft all those materials into something.
And then sell it and then get more materials and just do almost...
Right, you're asking if
if crafting
you
could be an in-game
player.
Yeah, you could be like a craft, because people do that, like literally just play crafting and that's it, and then that's what they do.
I think Diablo's more about slaying monsters.
Fair enough. Okay, so I can respect that.
There's certainly an element of crafting, but I don't think you would be like, I am a crafter and that's my role.
So this is kind of like, from what I've seen, it's almost borderline MMO, right? Or online or something. Is it going to be seasons? Is it going to be like leagues? Or
there will be seasons, and we're going to have a lot more details to share about how those work in the future and what the timing of them are. But yes.
Okay. Question. Another. Oh, yo.
One thing I can say about seasons is that we're going to modify what the most powerful items are from season to season, so that the metagame shifts.
Oh, I like that. And are you going to add new legendaries in? Like, so in terms of content patching, how are you guys going to do it? Is it going to be like every 3 months? You're going to patch the game with new stuff? Is it going to be like legendaries getting pumped into the system to really mess up the meta, or is it going to be more about balancing? Or
yeah, so the system that I talked about, where we adjust where we add mechanics to adjust the metagame from season to season, we'll handle part of that. But we're also going to be releasing content, especially through expansions.
Expansions? Oh wow, that's huge. Okay. A question that everyone's been asking and spamming me to ask, and I'm kind of interested in this challenge tree right here.
Yes.
Is this like a concept, or is this like what it's going? Is this fleshed out? Like what's? Because from what I can see, there's you have 2 lines, and then I guess you have to pick between certain things. Like is this it? Is this how the talent trees are going to look on it's similar to on release?
So this is the talent and skill trees are both in areas where we want feedback from everybody. In fact, the reason that if you go to the skill tree, for example, you'll see that you can actually mouse over all the skills, and you can mouse over all the talents here. And the reason that, even though it's a demo and the skills are launched for the demo, we want to give players a look at what we're planning for these 3 classes and get feedback on it. So yes, these are the talent trees as they currently stand.
As they currently stand. So are you planning? Okay, because for me, I mean, I kind of like to be even. I mean, I get that it's one of those things where it's like an illusion. Like there eventually will be some meta build which everyone goes or whatever. But like I really like having choices to make like stupid builds and weird stuff. Like, is there going to be any sort of like tributes or other things like passive trees that give you like okay, I guess kind of like this, but just way bigger?
Yeah, so it's possible that we'll add more things like that, but a lot of that kind of customization comes through legendary items.
Oh wow, okay.
So for example, we have legendary items. Stone of Jordan is in the demo, and we have other legendary items that increase ranks of talents or skills beyond the normal cap.
In terms of the skills, can you? So I see it's got a number and a level. Do you get to like pick specialized like runes for the said skills, or is the modification of the skill done via items? Or
it's done via items. So the skills, when you level up, you acquire skill points, and you can use your skill points to unlock or increase the rank of skills, and that makes the skill more powerful and can add properties to it. You cannot respec skills, but you can acquire additional skill tomes through doing various activities in the game to give you more skill points, so that you can build out that skill tree and make the skills more and more powerful.
This is gonna be a big one. Monetization. Is there any just sort of decision made in terms of how? So is it going to be like you just buy the game and then that's it, or is it going to be microtransactions within the game, or are you doing like subscription? How are you planning to monetize it and like keep getting funding, I guess, to like keep making heaps of content?
So Diablo 4 will be available as a base game, and as I said, we're going to have expansions. You also will be able to acquire cosmetics in the game through.
So MTX. Oh wow! That's going to be through some sort of shop, or can?
It's very early.
Oh wow!
So,
okay.
But yes.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. I mean, to be honest, I really do like the whole MTX monetization scheme, because I don't know. I feel like if they make, if it's really successful, it's making lots of money, then they're going to keep making stuff for the game. It's not going to die.
Well, it's also an opportunity to have more options available than you would otherwise. I mean, build more stuff, of course.
This is kind of a specific question, but a lot of people are asking it. Hideouts. So I don't know if you know what a hideout is in PoE, for example, or it's like a player housing sort of thing where you can like go there and then you can do various things and invite your mates over, do whatever, like craft stuff. Any plans for instant player housing hideouts?
That's an interesting idea. We don't have anything to announce on that.
All right. Oh,
you've got another page.
I got another page. This page.
have 20 more pages.
I have infinite pages of questions, bro. Don't worry.
No worries.
Don't worry. No, I'm gonna pick my favorite questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Add-ons. Like DPS meters, for example. Like like UI add-ons where you could like basically modify your UI, or like for example, have like a DPS meter to check like your death logs, so you know how you died. For example.
It's important to us that you know how you died, of course. I think what often happens in games with DPS meters is you end up feeling bad about how you did.
Yeah, I know.
Because you didn't.
Or you feel good because you're the top.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't have anything to announce on that specifically. I think our goal would be to put everything that you need to play the game into the base game itself.
Okay. And what about customization of your interface? Like, another question, very good one. So the keybinds in the game that I had, I guess it's gone to sleep, whatever. How many skill bars? Is that the skill bars locked in? Can we like modify the keybinds? Can we like change the left click to force move, for example? That's one really big thing, which is not in D3, and it's really.
Yes, you can modify your keybinds, and so Diablo 3 had elective mode, which was available through a checkbox in the UI
for like new players.
But in Diablo 4, we're building it from the ground up with the idea that you can modify your skills to. It's part of creating the character and the build that you want.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Cheat prevention. So in Diablo 3, there's a lot of people using like third-party stuff that like automatically uses skills. So there's Turbo HUD, like which is like some sort of map hack thing, like and they effectively get away with it. Is there going to be like more emphasis on cheat prevention in D4?
Yeah, we take that very seriously, and it's a big an item of very much importance to us to make sure that the game is pure and that everyone who's playing the game has a fair experience.
Okay. I say we're almost out of time. I'm going to ask one like stupid last question. Yo, ETA, when's it coming out? I mean, estimate. I mean, I know you guys said like PS4, right? Like, which is there's almost PS5 coming out. Which
so we announced that it's coming out for PC and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. We don't have any other announcements in terms of
I thought that'd be the case.
And if you listen to Luis at the opening ceremony, he says it's not coming soon, not even Blizzard soon. That's about as much
that's
monka
ass.
as I can get. But
that is monka ass.
I will say that if you look at the world of Sanctuary, you can actually go into the game and bring up the map.
It's huge.
You can zoom
absolutely
out
massive,
and look at how much of the demo, how small the demo area is compared to the world that we're building, and it takes a long time to build all that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely. Like, I when I zoomed out, I kind of like freaked out. Oh, I'm inside the dungeon. That's what it is. Thank you. 2 minutes. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for your time. And honestly, I was expecting you to not answer like a lot of these questions, and you just outright just no, yes, like straight to the point, which is absolutely amazing. I love that. The Blizzard is being a little more upfront, I guess, and like more straight to the point instead of being super diplomatic.
Well.